Minnesota.
Save more at Hy-Vee. Earn Fuel Saver rewards on over 1,000 items at your Albert Lee Hy-Vee with your Hy-Vee Perks card. Don't have a card? Sign up today. It's free. Go to Hy-Vee.com/perks.
Support local hockey and grow your business by becoming an Austin Bruins partner. With customizable packages featuring in-arena exposure, media and digital promotions, and more, your brand will be seen by thousands of passionate fans. Join the team behind the team. Become a sponsor today by calling 507-434-4978 or visiting austinbruins.com.
You finally got that new toy, shiny, powerful, and ready for adventure. But then... Oh, didn't see that, did ya? Or maybe your buddy Dave took your jet ski for a spin. And now it's at the bottom of the lake. That's where Americana Insurance Group comes in. We cover motorcycles, ATVs, watercraft, and RVs because accidents happen, especially to Dave. Protect your toys from yourself and Dave. Americana Insurance of Albert Lee, Ellendale, and Wells. AmericanaInsurance.com.
As the seasons change, so do things at the Pizza Ranch, located in the Northbridge Mall just off I-90 in Albert Lee. Now, senior appreciation pricing is all day Wednesday, not just for lunch. You can also get the buffet for just $11.99 from 11 until 11:29, Monday through Friday, with the early bird discount. Kids still eat free with a paid adult on Tuesdays, and the party rooms are available, seating up to 100 people. It's all at the Pizza Ranch, located in the Northbridge Mall just off I-90 in Albert Lee.
And here we go, Tiger Sports Saturday live from the Twin Cities as we are up here in Blaine, Minnesota. Actually, we're in Roseville or Rosedale. I don't know which. It's one of the Roses here. We're just about 15 miles away or so, but we're at the headquarters for all of the teams and officials here for the NAHL, as it is the Robertson Cup Finals. And we have a very special Austin Bruins insider today. We're going to go live with it. And like I said, I know a lot of listeners back home, whether in Albert Lee or Austin, are big Bruins fans, and you might know a couple of these voices. We have Mr. David Coyer and Mr. Peter Theodos. How you doing today, boys?
Oh, just doing absolutely lovely. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in, I think it's Roseville.
Is it Roseville?
I think
it's one of the Roses.
I think it's Roseville, but, wish it was a happier Saturday. The Bruins falling in overtime last night, but the beauty of this, it's a best-of-3 series, so Bruins got another one tonight. But, Peter, it's always good seeing you, buddy.
It's always great seeing you, and even though I see you every day.
Every day.
Is it, like, literally every day you guys see each other, like 7 days a week?
I mean, pretty much.
6 days a week, usually.
Sometimes it stretches into 7.
When it's home games, it's definitely 6 days. When it's road games and I'm out in Aberdeen or Bismarck or Minot or something like that, then it's not as much because that's when we leave Thursdays. Mm-hmm. But recently it's been basically 6 days a week. During the summer it'll probably be 6 or 7 days a week. So I
gotta go see some Twins games and all that sort of stuff.
I see Peter all the time, sometimes too much.
Well,
I agree with that.
I understand where you're coming from there. I mean, Anyway, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, last night the Bruins, it was a really close game, of course, and ended up going into overtime, and then the Bruins ended up falling 4-3. Of course, David, you're the voice. You do all the announcing. Take us through kind of the building up to even game time. I mean, you guys have been crazy all week. When did you first get up here?
Yeah, that was we left Wednesday afternoon, took the bus up here, and it's such a quick turnaround because obviously Game 5 was on Monday, and that's the same thing with the Wilderness too. So like both teams, on Saturday they're on the road. The Wilderness were actually down 2-0 in their series against the Wisconsin Wendigo. They won 2 straight down in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Ended up going back up to play at home. The Bruins were out in Aberdeen, lost Game 3, won Game 4. So both teams with a Game 5 on Monday, and then next thing you know, it's you get Tuesday to kind of relax. Wednesday morning, The team had practice, and then we rode the bus up here, and it was we got dinner here at the hotel, dropped the gear off, and then Thursday was early morning breakfast, went over to the rink, and with it being the Robertson Cup, the league does a really good job of promoting the players. They do a really good job of making sure they have a really good production and covering the event really well. So it was media day. Guys got to sign a bunch of stuff. They're auctioning off the pucks. Every goal scored gets put up for auction. So if you're interested in getting a Bruins gold puck here from the Robertson Cup, make sure you're tuning into NATV. They have a QR code on there that you can scan, or if you head over to the league website, nahl.com, I'm sure there's ways to find those pucks there. But so the guys are signing these cards that, it's got their signature. It's an authenticated puck. The guys were taking headshots. Some of the captains did some tiny mic questions with the league social media team, and then, had an hour-long practice. And then yesterday, had a morning skate, so it was a really early day for the team, but then you kind of just sit here, relax at the hotel, get a couple meals, get loose. The boys were ready. I mean, nobody on this team has been up here before. Last time the team made it to the Robertson Cup was the 2022-23 season, so the only guys from last year who were on that team, Jackson Riley, Ashton Bynum, aged out after last year, so even all the vets, the 3-year vets like Connor Beckwith, Nathan Williams, they have no experience up here, so it was a new experience for everybody, but the guys, they were excited for it. You could feel the excitement. You could feel the build-up, and when we were heading over on the bus ready for the game, like, you could tell everybody was locked in, and it just felt like a normal game day. And so, again, a little bit of a disappointing outcome, but the Bruins coming from behind to tie it up in the third, and then end up taking the lead. But in the Wilderness, they're a good team, and they showed it there last night.
Yeah, and of course, Callie and I, we were watching it at Caldy's last night on the NAHL TV. Just great games in general. And the game started a little late because of the fact of overtime. And everything's at one rink. And, of course, the first game between the Lone Star and Maryland. And that, too, I mean, Maryland was down 2-0, and they come back and they won in overtime. But that kicked your guys' playing time a little bit back further. I'd even sent you a message. You as a broadcaster, are you getting nervous down there? Just like, is this ever going to end? I got to get going here on this.
It didn't necessarily, that didn't throw me off or anything like that. I mean, you knew that was going to be a good series. I mean, all 4 teams that are here in Blaine, it's actually the top 4 teams in the league. All of them were number 1 seeds in their division. So you have the best of the best here at the Robertson Cup this year. And, with Maryland and Lone Star, the East Division and the South Division are just 2 totally different playing styles. The East is a very offensive division. They're a very skilled division. I mean, you had Harrison Smith, who won Forward of the Year and MVP. He's on the Maryland Black Bears. He set up the overtime game-winning goal for the Black Bears. He's such a dynamic forward, and
he's a little guy too.
There's not to say there's no defense, but it's not as much of a defensive-minded division where the South. I mean, they've earned themselves the nickname Dirty South here in the Knoll, and that's because they are a very physical division. They're a hard-hitting division. They've got great goaltending down there, great defense. And so, the big conversation of that matchup was, okay, what's going to happen when you have the irresistible force meeting the immovable object, so to speak? And Lone Star shut down Maryland, and they've got some goal scorers on the Brahmas this year as well, and so the 2-0 definitely didn't surprise me, but there's a reason Maryland had over 100 points this year and were the best team in the league heading here into the postseason, and they showed it. They're not ones to give up that easy, and all you need is one, and they actually kind of caught a break there at the end of that of regulation where they were getting ready to pull their goaltender, and then they went up on the power play. So they were actually 6-on-4, and then there was a pretty nasty boarding penalty on Lone Star, so then it goes 6-on-3. Lone Star got that first guy back, so it was 6-on-4, but 7 seconds left. The puck just thrown on net, tipped by the goaltender, and I think it was 7.5 seconds left. That's a tie game going into overtime, and when you go into overtime, it's a brand new ball game, and Maryland was the one who came out on top. And when that obviously pushed us back a little bit, and if anything, it affected our guys a little bit more than it would affect me, because that kind of throws off their rhythm, their game time. And but for me, the nerves, I've been watching this team all season long, and I'm starting to get gray hairs in my beard. Like there's a reason I've called these guys, or some of these games, the heart attack games.
Yeah.
Because it's the comeback kids. They've been able to dig down deep. They'll be down by 2 or 3 goals and make it an interesting game still. But when we get here, it's like I've been through all of that, especially with that Aberdeen series. That was a nail biter, and it's I was just ready to go. I was ready to see what our guys could do. They had seen the Wilderness already this year, and with Matsby scoring first for the Bruins, it was just like that's when I really kind of felt like I was in it. And it luckily, well, not luckily, but I wasn't doing play-by-play. I was just kind of doing colors, so pressure wasn't as much on me. I just knew that during the game, it was my job to give insight on the Bruins, a team I've been covering since August, basically, when they show up for main camp and orientation camp. And I've gotten to know these guys well, and I just want to make sure that they're shining on this stage and getting the recognition that they deserve.
And, of course, like you said, you're doing kind of color because you're you've been here now 2 years?
2 years.
2 years. TJ
Shalat,
and I don't know how many years he was with the Bruins, but he was not the original voice, but he was a big part. He was the voice of the Bruins for a while, and that's who you get to work with this whole weekend, hopefully, and hopefully Tuesday as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, TJ was here for 3 years. He left just before the 2021 season. He got a job, and it's not unheard of, but it's definitely a little more difficult, the path he took. He went right from junior hockey to the AHL. And he went to work for the Charlotte Checkers. He was with them, I believe, for 5 years. And that just shows how great of a broadcaster he is. He's beloved by the Austin community, and I don't think a lot of people truly knew that he was actually going to be here in Blaine or calling the games. I found out right after Game 2 against Aberdeen. He and I were texting, and I saw he was getting an opportunity. I was like, am I able to know? He's like, well, I'm calling the Robertson Cup. And I'm just like, heck yeah. He was a 2-time broadcaster for the Top Prospects tournament, so well respected by his peers, well respected by the league, and so he was kind of a clear choice when they wanted to kind of consolidate to one broadcast instead of a home and away feed. He's a great play-by-play guy, and like you said, he's got those Bruins ties, and so he was. I don't know if he would really want me saying this, but I think he was pulling for us a little bit to make it just so he could call those games again. But he is an unbiased broadcaster. He was brought in to be unbiased. He was definitely not leaning Bruins favoritism during the game last night. I mean, back when he was broadcasting, the Wilderness was still in the Central. So he knows Marty Hill very well, too, who's the Wilderness broadcaster. And I've gotten to know Marty the last 2 years. So knowing that, the Bruins were playing the Wilderness, which meant that not only did I get to work with TJ, who's been a mentor of mine, he actually was a big part of me getting this Bruins job. He's a great friend, great mentor. But to know that I get to work with a guy like Marty, who's been a pros pro for so long here in the Knoll as well, and the three of us know each other well. We knew we were going to have chemistry, and that was a fun booth last night, and we get to do it again tonight and hopefully Sunday.
Yeah, and then, like I said, Tuesday, hopefully you'll get to do it again as well. Like I said, yeah, the Bruins will have their game 2 tonight. Of course, they've had their back to the wall a couple times already here this playoff series. And I know you said on the bus ride home, how he had some good words of inspiration to the boys. Basically, but kind of where Bismarck's at last year.
Yeah, no. So last year, the Bismarck Bobcats, who were the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, they were the number 1 seed all season long, and they were a very similar team to what we are this year. They had about 15 or 16 age-outs. Bruins have, I believe, 13. We're the oldest team here in Blaine right now. And Bismarck, going up against an East Division champ in the Rochester Junior Americans, who had a great team last year. You look at it from the outside, and me as a guy who's obviously followed the Bobcats all season long last year, I'm just like, hey, Bismarck's going to make easy work of these guys. They've got just a very well-rounded team, good defense, great goaltending. They had the MVP of the league last year. in Thomas Anderson. And, the Bobcats got shocked in game one, a little bit of a culture shock playing against a very quick, skilled team in Rochester, and they lost. And, that was brought up on the bus last night where, hey, Bismarck was coming in and they thought they were going to make easy work of Rochester, and they lost game one last night. And he said, you got to flush this game. You can't be dwelling on it. If you dwell on it, you're not going to be focused on tomorrow's game. You're not going to be focused on, punching the ticket to Sunday and potentially punching the ticket to Tuesday. And so, this is a team who all season long has never really let that get to them. They've never let losses get to them. I mean, you really look at it, their longest losing streak of the year was 3 straight games. They got swept by Watertown after losing a Saturday game to Aberdeen back in November. Then they lost back-to-back to Watertown in January the next weekend, a big sweep of the Bismarck Bobcats to take over first place. And after that, they didn't lose back-to-back games until the playoffs here against Aberdeen. So it's a team where it's really hard to beat them 2 games in a row. And I think that's where this best of 3 really becomes beneficial for this team, because they are quick to, dump a bad performance out of their minds and respond the next night. I mean, you look to the Central Division final, Game 3, it's hard. In Game 2, you get shut out 2-0. First time all season you get shut out. And then the next game you get shut out 4-0 on the road, and now your backs are up against the wall. And what did we see from that? They rattled off 2 straight wins to punch their ticket to Blaine. And last night it was a hard-fought victory. I know there was definitely some frustrations from the guys during the game, especially from the disallowed goal from E.J. Paddington. But, it's short memories. And this is a team that all season long has never given up, and they give it their all on the ice every single night. And last night showed this team can score 3 goals on the Wilderness, and it's just a matter of, okay, now we got to shut down some of the mistakes on the defensive side of things and make sure that they take care of business.
Yeah, and okay, so we're gonna bring Peter in, because Peter, where were you sitting at last night for the game?
So I was actually right by the goal where that disallowed goal was. So, and I hate to say it, but it was the right call. And the ref blew the whistle before EJ even took the shot, which sucks because that would have obviously tied the game earlier on. But I'll tell you what, that third period where Buticus made some ridiculous saves, like highlight of the year saves, I was right on the goal line when that happened. And the fact that it was right in front of me made it that much more impressive. Like, he had some incredible saves last night, and I didn't think he played bad at all.
No, and Caldy and I were talking beforehand. Who would get the start, and of course, the Great Wall of Solo. He's been great all year, right? Mm-hmm. Had a little bit of struggle. Buticus comes in and just playing amazingly.
Absolutely.
And had that hot hand, which we'll see what happens tonight. They might go back to Solomon. But once again, it never hurts, because they're that 1A, 1B. And I know you guys have talked about that. Yeah, I know we even had both of them for Tiger Sports Saturday. But, Buticus had a pretty good week, and you guys had shared that too. Did commit now as well. But like I said, that goal there at the end, or not at the end, that goal that was disallowed. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you kind of knew on the broadcast. You said Howie and them weren't celebrating, so they maybe kind of knew. But you as a broadcaster, us as fans, we were about ready to drive up here and beat down the rat. It's like, what do you? Yeah. But you watch it again, and I get it's the right call.
Yep.
But how many times then, if you know you're in a situation, could a goalie just undo their strap?
In that situation, he clearly didn't. He went to make a save and the thing snapped off. That, it was a very clear, not on purpose thing. And I'll say this too, going through that game and watching as the game kept progressing, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that the Bruins weren't going to tie it. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that the Bruins weren't going to take the lead. So when we scored both of those goals in the third, I knew that's what was going to happen. And the one thing to keep and watch for tonight is the rebounds. There were so many rebounds that the Bruins had and the opportunity to put it in, but they just were a split second late. Or the rebound went to the opposite direction of where we had a guy. So
it was a lot of wilderness-friendly bounces last night.
Yes.
The Bruins, like you mentioned, Peter, like there were a lot of good opportunities, and they were there. And we saw it. Even if you look back to like Game 2 against Aberdeen, like the Bruins easily could have been in that game, but sometimes the stick or the puck just bounced over the stick in the wrong way.
Careful,
And
here comes your boss.
And I do also have to say Brian Schultz, president of business operations, is a great boss, and I'm very happy to have him as my boss. And hi, Brian. Brian just walked up. Also, congratulations to his wife Amanda, who just graduated with her doctorate from the University of Minnesota yesterday.
Awesome.
So that was a big event for them yesterday as well. Have to give that shout out here on the air. But yeah, last night, focusing back on the hockey, last night just a lot of wilderness-friendly bounces last night. But you look at the second period, Bruins had 15 shots in the second period, had 2 power play opportunities. Rarely do you see a game for the Austin Bruins where they have so many power play opportunities and they don't score on the power play. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the number. I think it's roughly around 43 games during the regular season did the Bruins have a power play goal. They are 6-0. There were only 2 games, and there was the 2 games they got shut out. 6-0 in the playoffs when scoring a power play goal. So when the power play isn't converting, that it's the storyline that the league asked a lot about too during media day. Asked Coach Howard, asked Nathan Williams, asked a couple of the guys. It's like, what does this power play mean? And there's a reason they were the number 1 power play during the regular season. It's because it helped them win so many games.
Yeah.
Well, and I felt too last night, it wasn't that the power play wasn't clicking. I just felt like they weren't getting the friendly bounce, or they were just missing, or the goalie was making a really good save. They weren't not clicking. I just felt the power play was really good last night.
Yeah, and as a fan, and I'll say this, and because obviously you watch part of the games, but obviously he's watching more of the game than you are because you're running around selling tickets, being that guy out there. As fans, it's always just hit the net, just get the rebounds because we are so good at getting those rebounds.
Yep.
So like I said, even last night, and that's kind of if you know they're getting those rebounds, it's going to be a great night as long as they're pushing hard. Because like I said, they're really good at that.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So yeah, like I said. Game 2 is tonight. Game 3, if needed, is tomorrow. 6:30 tomorrow, I think.
6:30 on Sunday.
6:30 is on Sunday. So that's, like I said, hopefully the Bruins will win tonight, play again tomorrow, and then Tuesday. So it's kind of a weird format. And we were talking to some of our friends. You have a best-of-5 series. Boom, best-of-5.
Yep.
Then it's a best-of-3, and then just one game. And obviously it's because you have teams traveling from all over the U.S., even far as Alaska. So Maryland, you got Lone Star. It is kind of tough, but how do you feel that? It's just kind of weird, isn't it?
It's definitely difficult, and I know that's always a topic of conversation from a lot of people, especially fans. I've had a lot of fans ask me about that playoff format. When you also really look at it, too, this is a long season for some of these guys. I mean, for teams in, like, the South and the East who they have bigger divisions, so they start a little bit earlier, they're in town mid-August. And then they are in town until sometimes, when you're in the case of the Maryland Black Bears and Lone Star Brahmas, it's middle of May and you're still playing hockey. I mean, it's a 59-game season, and then depending on how well you do in the playoffs, I mean, if the Aberdeen Wings had come in, they had 10 games under their belt, and if they played all the games here, that's 4 more games. So, 14 postseason games to go on top of 59 games where the Bruins, still last night was their 9th game of this postseason. So, that's already up to 68 games since September. So your body can only take so much, especially, these aren't NHL players who have their bodies, fully developed. They've got it built where they can last for a long season. So I think it's a little bit of that too. And obviously to get out of the division, I think you want those longer series just to make sure you got the right team coming out of the division. And the tough thing about that championship, with the Bruins hoping to get that win tonight, best-of-3 series, they can rattle off 2 in a row where sometimes you just have a bad night like last night, or if you're Lone Star, you have a bad night like you did last night and you just are on the wrong side of things. It's tough because it's just like, hey, we could beat them 2 out of 3, but we only had one chance, and so that's why you want to make sure you have that hot game in the championship to make sure you're coming out with the Robertson Cup. It's not an easy cup to win.
Well, and it used to actually just be 4 straight. So it used to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the championship game on Monday. But it wasn't the last time Minot was in it. It was the time before that. And I know you probably don't remember
You
it.
would know that
Yes,
more than I would,
yeah.
Peter.
Former
Minot Minotauro, Peter Theodos.
Yes. But the Toros, I forget how the whole situation went, but they had a bunch of injuries. They played like a double overtime, actually to beat the Bruins, I think it was, to get to the Robbie Cup. And then they played another double overtime game here at the Robbie Cup. And then they had to play the championship game on a Monday after playing 3 games against, I forget who it was, but the league decided to add in that off day.
So you get a little rest.
Correct.
Of course, yeah, like I said, you might not. How, and I'm going to ask you this because my in-laws are all from North Dakota, except my father-in-law's from East Grand Forks, so across the river, right? But how hard is it to separate your Minot fandom when they play the Bruins? My in-laws do not.
It's not hard at all. It's one of the sweetest victories we have each time we beat them. So it's one of those. It's the friendly rivalry that I personally have, and it's like that little brother that you always want to beat and keep the little brother. And that's how I see it now. Is I still have so many ties, so many connections, so many memories there. But it's like every time we play them, all I want to do is beat Minot now. So
you know who I like beating?
Everyone.
Well, that is true. I really like beating the St. Cloud Norsemen. And Jared Becker, voice of the Norsemen, standing here watching us here. Hi, Jared. Jared, I do want to give a shout out. Central Division has been repping here at the Robertson Cup. Obviously, former Bruins voice TJ Shalott, former Bruins voice and current voice of the St. Cloud Norsemen, Jared Becker, and Watertown Shamrocks broadcaster Blake Tyson. Jared and Blake have been doing the pregame, intermission, and postgame reports, and they've been doing a fantastic job here and getting involved. So great representation from the Central Division. A lot of great broadcasters. Blake winning Broadcaster of the Year here for the Null, so he's done a great job. And of course, Jared just finished up his 2nd season with St. Cloud. Always does a great job there. So have to give my fellow broadcasters some love here. But that's also not to say that it is fun getting to beat St. Cloud a few times. And got our revenge on Paint the Ring Pink Night this year.
And Jared, I know Jerry would say hi. He talks a lot about you as well. We've talked about getting up there to a game. He goes, I might be able to get us some pretty sweet tickets. I know the guy. I said, well, we'll have people talk to people. Speaking of just games in general, like I said, it's been a fantastic season in Austin. A couple of big things. How many sold out, or how many 1,000+ games? I know it was like 17, and then we went into the playoffs. So did it end up? Was it 20?
With Game 5 against Aberdeen, it was 22 straight games with 1,000 or more fans.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Like I said, Austin, Albert Lee area. A lot of people we know go to the games, and it was just fun. What? Obviously, Organization of the Year. You guys won that, and it's because of you two and as well. Oh, here comes Coach Howe. He's going to go for the walk with the boys there as they're going to go on their walk. But like I said, Organization of the Year, you don't get that by just having a straight-up game day.
No.
I mean, they're looking at what you guys do for the fans, what you guys do for the players, the volunteers, all of that stuff. And, how huge is that? You guys get to hang that on your head now. Is that we're the Organization of the Year.
And you mentioned volunteers, and while we're on that note, we cannot go without saying thank you so much to the volunteer of the year for the league, Sue Stoll.
Yeah, Mama Sue we call
Mama
her.
Sue. It's what she does on a daily basis, from housing 3 players all by herself, to volunteering to coordinate school appearances, mascot appearances, to being our seamstress to take name bars off of jerseys, to put new name bars on jerseys.
Coordinating national anthems.
Everything that lady does. We cannot thank her enough for that. So that is a huge part of it. And obviously a tremendous honor as well for her and the organization. But no, just from everything. And the organization of the year is the attendance, the social media aspect. So David crushed it on the social media part this year. It's just, that is such a huge, tremendous honor. And wasn't one that, honestly, I was even thinking that we would get. And when we found out in the office about it, it was just one of those, it was just like a huge sense of pride that came across, like, me, as it's like, wow, all this hard work is actually, like, being recognized. Like, this is really, really cool.
Well, and one thing, too, it's not just the stuff, it's not the stuff that Peter and I do or Brian does or, the fans showing up. It's also, they do take into consideration the product on the ice. And, I mean, our hockey ops staff, that's Coach Howard, Coach Rooney, Coach Murray. You also have to look at assistant GM Aaron Vanaski, Director of Player Personnel Scotty Mickish, all of our scouts who build this team. They do take that into consideration as well. And the team, a new franchise record, 43 wins in a single season. Simon Marshanock breaking a few records, Nathan Williams and Jack Solomon winning defenseman and goaltender of the year, respectively. I mean, there's all that goes into it as well. And, winning it, like Peter said, we found out and we saw the email and we're just like, what? And, I've worked in the Northwoods League before, the Summer Collegiate Baseball League. And
for the Lake Shore Chinooks, right?
It was for the Lake Shore Chinooks, Peter. Thanks for bringing that up. Carl just walked that way, so he couldn't hear that one. But for the Northwoods League, you actually have to kind of submit your case as to why you're organization of the year, and then the league kind of decides on, like, okay, who's got this merit and stuff like that. Same with like a volunteer of the year or a not necessarily fundraiser of the year, but it was kind of like, something like that, like program of the year, something like that. But you have to kind of submit reasons why, where for this, we asked Brian when we got the email, it's like, did you nominate us for that? Did you submit things as to why we should win it? And he's like, no. So it was literally just the league looking from the outside looking in. Same with Sue. It's just like somehow they just kept seeing what Sue was doing, and she just won it outright. And so to get that honor, just being recognized from the league for the hard work that we've been putting in both on the ice and off the ice, it like Peter said, it was just kind of a humbling moment, because it what people don't sometimes realize, obviously they know I travel with the team, so they know my weeks are long, but it's not just your typical 9 to 5 days a week. I mean, there's a lot that goes into those game nights, a lot of coordination. Peter's working really hard during the season and in the off season, selling sponsorship, making sure, we've got those fun programs that we have. We've got, Superhero of the Game that people are getting interested in. You've got, the Big Mac attack and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, we want to make sure that we're creating a fun experience that people want to come out to. And sometimes it's long days, long nights, and we put a lot of work into it. And, we joked at the top of the show that Peter and I see each other 6 or 7 days a week. And that's just because, we're on game days, we're Fridays, we're in there at 9. We're not leaving the rink till 11:30. And then we're back there at 9, 10 a.m. on Saturday to get ready for that Saturday night game. And it's just, it was refreshing to see that kind of be recognized. And we're recognized all the time just within the office. Brian does, he's always telling us how proud he is of us.
How appreciative he is.
Appreciative he is. And Brian Redines, who, a new owner, and, he's constantly saying how, impressed he is by the work we're doing and stuff like that. And I got to give credit to Peter. We talked about that 22 games with 1,000 or more fans, and one of, if not the most highest attended season in the team's 16-year history. I mean, the fact that we've had back-to-back top 3 attended seasons, and Peter and I kind of last year when we got that number, it was just kind of like, we were spent half the season just getting familiar with how we did stuff in Austin. And then this year, we took what we learned last year and tried to just improve upon it this year. And again, that organization of the year was just the cherry on top of the sundae.
Yeah, of course, Tiger Sports Saturday. We are live up in the Twin Cities as it's Robertson Cup Finals. Live version here of Austin Bruins Insider. Of course, Power 96, like I said, a big sponsor. You guys are a sponsor of us. It's a great partnership we have, but you guys are looking for partners for next year as well to continue to grow. Tell us a little bit. Are you about 90% full? Do you need about 20 more businesses to jump on? You'll take anybody, right?
I just, before Peter answers this question, I just want to say we are very thankful for Power 96. I mean, you guys are fantastic. You, Ron, Jerry, you guys are probably some of our biggest fans that we have. And I just want to express the gratitude we have, when you guys, play some of our ads to help promote the games every single week, allowing us to do Austin Bruins Insider not only during the season, but, getting us on the air during the summer. Yeah. We love meeting up with you guys. And, you guys, obviously you and Caldy are at almost every single home game when you can be. And then, Ron and Jerry, they make it out when they can as well. And we love having you guys as partners. And I know we said it back during Hockey Day when we were last on the air, but no, we couldn't be more grateful for you guys over at Power 96.
Well, like I said, I'm just glad Caldy finally went to a game. He's not a hockey guy at all. But once again, I fell in love with it. So did Caldy. You guys put together such a product, and if we didn't have fun at the games, well, obviously we wouldn't be going. But it is fun, and you get to know people. Obviously, we know you guys, but other fans in the stands. Like I said, it's just a fantastic time. I missed Swifty night.
It was a great time.
You
missed it. You missed my sparkly gold jacket. Ron got to see it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said that it was on there. I also missed Paint the Rink Pink because obviously I have to call high school games and stuff like that too. But like I said, you have those events. What other? Are you trying anything new? Obviously you had John Madden night for Thanksgiving, which a lot of people didn't know that he was from Austin, but he is. What other things are you looking at doing for next year? Any hints?
Dave Nelson appreciation.
Hey, we could do that. I'll sign autographs.
There's always the rollovers that we have every year. Pink the Ring Pink, Teddy Bear Toss. There's some others that we're looking at tweaking or critiquing a little bit for next year. Can't really dive too much into it.
We don't want to give too much away yet.
And a lot of it too is, we were so focused on trying to get the playoffs, especially Game 5 filled and all that sort of thing. So while for me, I was trying to get a bunch of renewals done with sponsors that I knew were going to be back for the next year, while also trying to sell and get ready for Game 4 or Game 1, Game 2, and Game 5. But then also, just we're not quite turning the page yet. So while great question with the promos, we just really haven't talked much about it internally. I know Brian was talking to us last week before the team came up, and he was already wanting to kind of get into that, not this week, but next week, to start talking about next season. So, it's funny because people are always like, oh, the season's over, I guess it's not your busy time. It's like, no.
You're going to gear up.
Not even close.
If anything, this is the busier time because, we got a 9-month-long season, and, we're not having home games every single week. So it's, sometimes we get a small breather here and there. We have 3 months to plan a 9-month season. So it is a very quick turnaround. We get maybe a week to kind of, decompress, take that time to relax after a very long season, and then we are right back starting to plan for next year because it doesn't happen like I said before, it doesn't happen overnight. But like Peter said with the promo nights, we another big one, we obviously kind of rebranded it John Madden Night this year, our Thanksgiving game. Not necessarily confirmed if that's the route we're taking next year again. We will, though, have a Thanksgiving game again this year. Schedule won't be released probably until, what was it last year? End of June, early July.
Yeah, like that.
So that we'll get the official schedule out there, and that's usually when we start finalizing the promo schedule once we know what games are where. And obviously we take into consideration like big events that are happening. One that we missed this year that we once it got around that time, we were kind of kicking ourselves. We had the Winter Olympics this last year, so it was kind of we're just like we really missed out on doing like an Olympics night or something like that. But next year, I know when we announced it, Swifty Night had a lot of it had a lot of discourse with it, and there were some fans who were not too happy with it. There were some fans who were just like, heck yeah, I'm gonna be there. That one went over well, and sometimes theme nights are as basic as we have some fun promo videos leading up to it. I know the one with Al Rooney was a big hit on social media, and then when I did the kind of guess that Taylor Swift song with the players, I know fans loved that. And at the end of the day, it was just us kind of playing Taylor Swift songs throughout the night and doing some Taylor Swift trivia. So sometimes it is just as basic as that, but we always try and like coming up with some creative stuff, and obviously the specialty jerseys are a big hit. We will have the Paint the Rink pink jerseys again next year, and we're trying to come up with some creative ideas for that, whether it's what the team wears or even having a couple of specialty ones for Bruiser like we did for New Year's Eve this year with the Dumb and Dumber. Last year we had the St. Patrick's Day. Yep. So we're just trying to have some fun with that. I will say, without giving too much away, we have seen the final designs for our home and away jerseys next year, and we think I'm not going to give any sort of hints away on that. But let me tell you, if you liked some of the jerseys this year, you're going to enjoy our home and roads next year.
Well, and of course, like I said, you guys do a fantastic job with all that. I know we got a couple jerseys that are going to be coming to us here soon, and like I said, going back to Mama Sue, she said, even I did buy a Shay's jersey from her, and she goes, if you need it, widen it out. I can do that. I take care of all the sleeves. So we'll have to see the black ice jersey. We want to have to see if it. Otherwise, it might be my wife's jersey. I don't know. We'll have to see. But like I said, you guys just put on such a great experience. Obviously, that's why Caldy and I, this last year we were season ticket holders. We got our tickets again for next year. You can get season tickets right now. Yep. Early bird pricing is done, or did you?
Nope, it goes until
May 31st.
31st, so you have about 15 days from today.
15 days.
Early bird pricing.
Tell us a little bit about the early bird pricing and what you get for your season ticket.
Yeah, so early bird pricing is $230. After May 31st, so June 1st, it goes up to $260. So a little bit more expensive. If you do the math, you get about 7 games, quote unquote, for free. And then on top of that, you also get extra benefits such as some flex tickets that you can bring friends and family with to come enjoy the game, like you brought Caldy out type of thing. Yeah. So we love stories like that. And it gets you every single home game, a guaranteed ticket to every single home game, which includes,
in the seat you choose.
In the seat that you choose.
That's why we got ours. Because we love our seats.
You get a reserved seat, so that the rest of our arena is general admission. But as long as there is a season ticket holder sticker on your seat, that is yours for the season. You have every right to kick a fan. I was going to stop it at kick a fan, and then I realized that's not the proper wording because
security won't allow that.
We won't want people actually physically kicking people.
I don't like dealing with that.
You can kick someone out of your seat, and of course it is your seat, the reserved seat. And one thing that there was a little confusion this year, and we thought we emphasized it a lot, but we just you do get Paint the Rink pink tickets. So that is obviously the one game a year where we truly sell out, and there you are shoulder to shoulder with everybody. But you have your ticket for that. You don't have to buy an extra ticket for Paint the Rink pink.
Unless you want to bring people.
Unless you want to bring people. You don't have to worry about there not being a seat for you because you have your season ticket reserved seat. And there won't be any confusion because it's not like people can go online and, obviously we have GA seating, but it sometimes still gives you like a quote-unquote assigned seat. But they won't be able to buy that ticket, so there won't be any confusion there. But yeah, so that's a big selling point too that people I think don't fully realize is you get Paint the Rink pink tickets with your season tickets. So and like Peter said, you get 7 free games in savings. When you get this early bird pricing, I think it drops down to 4 or 5 games, quote unquote, free. when you just get regular season ticket pricing. We do, it is a little cheaper to get season tickets. So if you find yourself going to, 25 of the 28 home games, or even like 20 of the 28 home games, season tickets are probably a little bit of a cheaper option. And if you miss a game or know you're going to miss a game, we do allow flexing of tickets. So if you let Peter know before you're going to miss a game, he can bank a credit into your account, or if you want to move those tickets to a different game, you can have it where your tickets don't go unused as well. So season tickets, just a great opportunity for people, and especially, basically, we like to say if you're coming to probably 18 or 20 or more games, season tickets are probably something that you might want to take a look into. And Peter and I are always happy to answer questions, 507-434-4978, or we do have a season ticket inquiry on our website. If you go under tickets, you click on season tickets, we have a form you can fill out. We'll reach out to you. I know it's very scary to call people sometimes, and you don't want to do that. We are happy to email you if you don't like that over the phone call, or if you're scared of dialing the phone like Peter and I are. You can you can put that pressure on us, and we'll make sure to reach out to you.
Now, I know also with the season tickets, you get $5 Rochester Grizzly tickets
Correct.
as well.
Yes, and they had a great year as well.
They did, and we actually, Albert Lee has a player on the Grizzlies.
Yes.
Zayden Brua, and he was retendered again to play with them again next year, so hopefully he doesn't get traded out or whatever. But like I said, and that's in the NA3, and that's great hockey as well. Like I said, there's just so many great advantages to it. Like I said, just get on to the website,
Yep.
awesomebruins.com, and just check everything out. Go to their Facebook. We've had so much fun this year. Like I said, not only with you guys coming over for Hockey Day, stuff like that, but Halloween, when it was the trunk or treat, that was fun. We found out we need more treats for next year because we ran out really quick. That was just an amazing turnout.
You got to meet Mama Theodos, too.
Yes, yeah. I got to meet your mom and dad, and they actually, my son didn't get enough candy, which, whatever. But, yeah, your mom and dad, make sure he gets some of this. He doesn't need more, but, yeah. But, like I said, just events like that were fun, and
that was an event, touching back on the promo night, that was an event that, we put together in a month, maybe less than that.
We wanted to do it last year, and because we had a game near Halloween last year, and we couldn't get it logistically done in time. It was kind of an idea we had late, and we're just like, we're going to put this in our back pocket, do it for next year. And then this year it was kind of, oh crap, we literally played in Watertown on Halloween, so it's like, does this even make sense? And then it was probably mid to late September, like right after the season started. We're just like,
heck with it, we'll just do it.
We really need to do a trunk or treat, and Peter did a great job of reaching out to a bunch of sponsors, and that's why we got a lot of sponsors out there. Our billets are the best billets in the Null, and I'm not even going to walk around that. I'm going to stand by that statement. They stepped up and they had fun with it. We had a lot of billets dress up. We had Dave and Ann it was Ann Forland, and Dave did not dress up. Dave wasn't there, but we had like Ann Forland, our billet coordinator Kim Lang.
The Timians? I think the Timians were there.
Timians might have been. I'm talking about in those dinosaur inflatables.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing.
Crystal Steinbach, I think, was in one of them. E.J. Paddington's sister Alexis was in town that weekend. And so she dressed up in one of those.
Aaron's Heating and Cooling was dressed up as pirates.
Yeah,
they brought like a van. That was awesome.
Didn't Les Schwab? Didn't they decorate a truck?
They
or
brought
something?
a truck. McDonald's was there with their Big Mac car.
So,
it was just a really cool thing.
It ended up being super fun. Bruiser went all chicken jockey on him, and
my son, he loved that. He's like, it's a chicken, because my son was kind of a free, first game, didn't know with a big bear. He's a chicken jockey, and that, like I said, it just kind of got the kids involved with it, too. So that was pretty cool.
And so that was one that it's one when you do it for the first time, you're just scared as to we're either going to have 200 people here or we're going to have 2. And that's what we were worried about all day. It ended up being a beautiful day, and that always helps. But like, there's certain promos where it's just like, especially when we do them for the first time, it's just like you get really nervous on the busy side of the business side of things, because it's just like, all right, we think this is a good idea. We're going to promote this like it's a good idea. How are fans going to respond? And Swifty night was that I had
he died on his hill.
I had a lot of late nights just losing sleep on. Oh, I need this one to do well. Oh, I need people to show up for this game because I died on that hill. Last year was a big year for Taylor Swift. She was finishing up her tour. She got engaged to Travis. She dropped the new album, and it was just like, I'm just like, okay, this is either going to go really, really well or everyone's going to hate this. And it ended up going really well. We got a lot of positive feedback from it. So and speaking of positive feedback, fans can also go onto our website, fill out our fan survey. We have read every single entry that people have filled out about that. We've gotten a lot of great responses. I think last year we maybe had 20. We probably had 45 in the first 2 hours of us having that up there. We can't improve unless we hear from our fans and hear what they like and what they don't like. If we don't hear that people don't like something, then we're, and we think it's a good idea, we're going to keep doing it. And sometimes we'll hear from people, and it's like, okay, is this a large group of people? Is this a small group of people who feel this way? So the more people who fill out our fan survey over at austinbruins.com, the better we can tailor our seasons to make sure everyone's getting what they want. And I'll be straightforward right now. Sometimes we'll hear suggestions or hear people saying we need to do this and do this. And sometimes we might just yeah, sorry, that's not going to change. We're going to keep doing that, or
there's certain things that we're limited on
that we literally can't do. And so we take that and we know it. And frankly, there's some things that people suggest. It's like, trust us, we've been trying to do this for 5 years, and it's just but filling out that fan survey is also very important. Because it just gives us an idea of how to better understand our fans. Obviously, Peter and I aren't Austin natives, so it took us a season to kind of feel the town out, understand, at least do better to understand what the community is, who the community is, and what makes them tick. And obviously, we came in our first year and we made a lot of big changes. Like the new ticketing system, that was a big one, and
goal song,
that was an uproar, and so it was just like, we understood that, but there was just certain things where it's like, okay, when you're around for 16 years, you can't keep everything the same all 16 years. You got to adjust and adapt to the times, and at the end of the day, a lot of it has ended up working out in our favor. I will tell a story that happened yesterday here in Blaine. I don't want to throw TJ under the bus, but I was talking with TJ, and he was asking me, it's been 5 years since he's last been in Austin, and we were talking about some of the changes we made and stuff like that. And he's like, do you guys still play ball with the ball before the team comes out? And I said, absolutely we do. He's like, why? That is so old. You guys need to change that. And I looked at him and I was like, TJ, if we change ball with the ball, the arena's going to burn down. And it's probably going to be me burning it down because I love ball with the ball. I think that is the greatest. If we changed it, Robbie Murray, the assistant coach for the Bruins, would probably burn Riverside Arena to the ground. I can't think of a different of a song that gets everybody more hype for Bruins games than ball with the ball before the team comes out. So it's stuff like that where there's certain things that stay the same, and then obviously in terms of the goal song, when we changed it last year, there was reasoning behind it.
Which everyone that asked about it, once they heard our reasoning, understood why we were doing it. So,
and I think "Let's Go Crazy" has become a great goal song. It's definitely being on team buses and bus rides. The boys have adopted it. We had that was coming back from Watertown after Game 3. Boys had the speaker on the bus, and "Let's Go Crazy" started playing, and I was jamming out to it. It is Coach Howard's new favorite song. He's the one who really kind of adopted it as our new goal song, and I think it's getting to hear it last night here in Blaine when we scored 3 goals. I think everyone has truly adopted "Let's Go Crazy" as the new goal song, and I don't think that's going to be going away anytime soon.
Well, and I know last week's show I ended with "Let's Go Crazy," and I said hopefully this gets them going, and we're going to end the show on it again today. By the way, that'll feed in. But it's one of the songs that we can thank Reggie when he was here. put that in there. So it's like one of the only Prince songs we have. That and Purple Rain, of course. Everybody likes Purple Rain too. But Let's Go Crazy. So yeah, we're gonna definitely play that here before we kick out, just because we need this place today to go absolutely crazy. And like I said, if you're listening right now, it's a beautiful day. Get on up. It's Blaine. It's the Fogarty Arena, and the Bruins play technically 7:30, and unless it's an overtime game again, then it'll be a little later. But Caldy and I are up here. Like I said, I know there's a lot of other super fans that are going to be here as well. Get the cowbells going. Get the horns blowing. Caldy, did you have anything? You're good? Okay. Caldy's good. Then no, I know he was going to ask some tough questions, but I think we kind of got through everything. So, well, no, I thank you guys, of course, for joining me today doing this live. Of course, now you got 2 weeks to come up with a new Austin Bruins Insider. Hopefully it's a championship.
It'll be a season recap, and hopefully it's talking about the Bruins winning the Robertson Cup, and that would always be great. But it's been a great season, and I've gotten to cover it all season long, getting to talk with the players, get their insights on it, and obviously whenever the season is officially over, those guys head home. We got 2 guys who are heading to the Air Force Academy, and I think Xander Lipsett was talking about it the other day. I think it's like mid-June. They have to head out there for basic training, and so the likes of Xander Lipsett and Jack Solomon, they don't get much of a summer.
No.
But a lot of the guys, they get a little bit of a break, but then it's you got to stay in shape during the summer. They got main camp coming up in I think it's mid-July. And then next thing you know, it'll be August, and we'll be back at the rink for some Bruins hockey, some preseason, and kicking things off.
Well, and the coaching staff even goes, and they leave on
Thursday. The coaching staff's got their summer camps. Their coaching staff attended camps where they're trying to scout the next Austin Bruins team. They got a lot of guys to replace coming up this next year, but they leave. If we make it to Tuesday's game, they've got a day to celebrate, and then they head to Michigan for their first camp on Thursday, and that kicks off on Friday. And they've got 3 straight weekends of camps. Coach Howard heads out to Sweden usually every summer to go scout some players. They got the draft coming up. I believe that's early to mid-June. You got the Null draft, and it's a busy summer for them. They don't really get any time off. Al Rooney is, I think next week is when he does it. He drives up to Michigan, and then he'll be driving down to Texas, drive up to Nashville. He's got a bunch of events that he goes and does some scouting at. So it's a long summer. Season ends, but the work never stops.
That it doesn't. Well, good luck tonight to both of you. Well, to the whole team, right?
Absolutely.
Good luck on the call again tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. It's like I said, it's been a pleasure having you guys here, getting to know you guys, and having you join us here. And hopefully, like I said, in 2 weeks, you'll be talking about a Bruins win. So we're going to pay some bills here. This has been a live version of Awesome Bruins Insider. We'll be right back here on Power 96.
The Bruins are heading back to Austin, and we'll wait to see who they see in the Central Division Final.
The Central Division Final kicks off this Friday and Saturday at Riverside Arena with games 1 and 2 set for 7:05 p.m. And we need Riverside Arena rockin' and rowdy. Tickets for both games are just $5, and fans can get their tickets over at tickets.austinbruins.com. Let's pack the stands with black and gold and cheer on the Austin Bruins.
You finally got that new toy, shiny, powerful, and ready for adventure. But then... Oh, didn't see that, did ya? Or maybe your buddy Dave took your jet ski for a spin. And now it's at the bottom of the lake. That's where Americana Insurance Group comes in. We cover motorcycles, ATVs, watercraft, and RVs because accidents happen, especially to Dave. Protect your toys from yourself and Dave. Americana Insurance of Albert Lee, Ellendale, and Wells. AmericanaInsurance.com.
Save more at Hy-Vee. Earn Fuel Saver rewards on over 1,000 items at your Albert Lee Hy-Vee with your Hy-Vee Perks card. Don't have a card? Sign up today. It's free. Go to Hy-Vee.com/perks.
The friendly staff at Albert Lee's Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union reminds you that when you're in need of a home that satisfies your financial needs, let Trades and Labor Credit Union make it easy with checking services, debit cards, home equity loans, and savings options that will earn you more for your money. Visit Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union on Albert Lee's friendly south side. Open 6 days a week with social distancing for your safety and theirs. Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, providing financial services since 1958.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
Power 96. Power 96. The very best in classic rock. 96.1 KQPR FM. Albert Lee, Minnesota.
Ed, back here again, live edition of Tiger Sports Saturday. We're just about ready to wrap it up here. I do want to thank all of our Tiger Sports Saturday sponsors, of course, Hy-Vee and Albert Lee, Americana Insurance, the Pizza Ranch, Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, and, of course, the Austin Bruins. Also, our sports boosters who help keep local sports on local radio. Of course, Americana Insurance, Bayview Freeborn Funeral Home, Southern Minnesota Branding, On the Spot Appliance, Arcadian Bank, Star Granite Works, GT Window and Door, Gutters by GT, the Austin Bruins, Alpha Orthodontics, Robert Hoffman Realty, Trades and Labor Federal Credit Union, Thompson Sanitation, Young Construction and Roofing, Nick's Meats in Hayward, South Main Auto Service in Austin, Freeborn County Solid Waste, North Star Power Sports and Marine, the Community Foot Clinic, the Overhead Door Company, Albert Lee Convention and Visitors Bureau, P&L Excavating and Complete Septic Systems, Derek's Preferred Auto in Blooming Prairie, Liberty Extreme Car Wash and Detailing, Jensen Heating, Plumbing and Air Conditioning in Geneva, Shell Rapid Lube, Hanson Tire Service of Austin, Etc. Credit Union, Marthaler Honda in Owatonna, Design Ready Controls, Hy-Vee and Albert Lee, Jake's Pizza, and Wasika Ink and Aero Printing. And with that, I know Coyer's dying to hear this song. Like I said, get on up here to up to the cities if you can, because it's going to be a fantastic evening. Bruins are going to go out and win. And let's go get crazy, folks. This has been Tiger Sports Saturday.